My name is Carrie Costanza. I write stories for World Vision. For the last few years, I've been writing about hunger in the world, how it changes lives and futures. But I've never felt I could truly describe how awful hunger is, what it feels like. So photographer John Warren and I decided to go hungry ourselves, living with a family in Kenya. We started our story at a food distribution in Kekorisegol. Kekorisegol is named for a river in northern Kenya that hasn't flowed in a year and a half due to years of drought. It is dry here, and it is dry everywhere in northern Kenya. In this part of Kenya alone, 100 World Vision staff serve 150,000 people with food supplied by the World Food Program. In this village, 1 of every 4 children is malnourished. Food aid keeps them from dying. At the distribution, we met the family we'll stay with. The community chose this family because they love the grandmother so much. Her name is Ekamol. She cares for her 4 grandchildren, 3 girls and a little boy, while their parents graze what few livestock they have left. We walked from the distribution with the family to the hut where we'll stay for the next 4 days. Ayane, Ekamol's daughter-in-law, immediately began cooking the corn-soybean porridge, called CSB, that she received at the food distribution. The children were so hungry and listless, but the family insisted on serving us first. I'm here in the hut where we're staying, and this is day 2. And we haven't eaten very much. Yesterday we had the CSB, which is the corn and soya blend that they mix with water, and then you eat it out of a cup. So we had a cup. And then this morning we had camel's milk with tea. And I have to tell you, I don't feel very good. I am lethargic. It's hot here too. I think the heat is wilting me, but I feel like I'm doing a terrible job on the story because I'm not eating. On day 2, the family has been absolutely wonderful to us. They share everything with us. They're giving us too much food, but they're really wonderful, wonderful people who forage for food all day long. That's all they do. So what I want to find out is if they didn't have to look for food all day long, what would they do instead? This is where the children would be if the family didn't have to worry about food. Just a half hour from their home is a school where children learn and are fed a nutritious meal every day. But even though this school is free, there is a cost for pencils and notebooks. Ekamol's family has no money, so the children cannot go to school. And they are so bright. The baby, at only 8 months, can already talk. The oldest girl, Ekador, would love to go to this school, but she has to hunt for food instead. The headmaster says that more and more children are dropping out and grades are plummeting. Hunger hits a classroom hard. This is day 3 of our journey, and we have had to come back to Lodwar to recharge our camera batteries and laptop batteries and video batteries. So we're spending the night here and then going back to meet the family in the morning. Today is Sunday. And it was interesting waking up in the morning to find out that today was a no-food day. Today is a day the family doesn't eat because they want to stretch their food rations to last as long as possible. So we were prepared to eat nothing. And we walked really, really slowly to church because we're feeling pretty lethargic now. I had a really bad headache yesterday,
and just not feeling good at all, feeling kind of rotten. So we got to church, and when we got to church, the pastor served us tea with goat's milk, and it was absolutely fantastic. And then we went to the church service, which was a beautiful Catholic service, and the offering was the most beautiful offering I've ever seen, because they took the $3.50 they gathered today and they danced around with it, giving thanks to God for what they have. And then we waited for our car to arrive to bring us back to the city, and while we did that, the pastor actually brought us lunch. And we ate it because the family was there waiting with us, and they were able to eat too, and the lunch was fantastic, rice and lentils. And right before the pastor brought us lunch, I found myself dreaming about food. I was dreaming about sushi, and as we ate lunch, I asked one of the family members if he dreamed about food, and he said, "Oh yes, I dream about food. I dream about meat. But when I wake up in the morning, I don't have anything to eat."
Ekamoli and his brother Peter live with their mother. They herd the family's livestock, but there's not much left to herd. Just days before we arrived, Ekamoli was grazing the sheep, goats, and camels when livestock raiders attacked. They killed his young cousin and took the animals. The family lost 97.5% of its livestock. They had 360 animals in all. Now they just have 9. I kept the family in my prayers that night as we recharged our batteries in town. I missed them and was anxious to get back to join them. We're back with our family on day 4. We drove down from the city where we charged our batteries last night, and all the way down we talked about food, what we wanted to eat. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, steak, gravy, macaroni and cheese, my grandma's spaghetti, which has hamburger meat and onions and Franco-American spaghetti covered with cheddar cheese, bake at 350. Fantastic. We eat the whole pan. And you can eat it cold for breakfast. So we got here and it started raining. Buckets and buckets of rain. And everybody was so happy. But the rain stopped. And I think it's going to stop for the season. I think the short rains were just that. Very, very short. The family is cooking dinner for us now. I can hear them out there gathered around the fire. Camerette, the little one, is working, chopping up wild fruit, and the grandma's cooking, and I cannot wait to eat. I haven't eaten since 12 yesterday. None of us have. Nobody in our new extended family has eaten since 12. It's going to taste so good. I was wrong. The food didn't taste good. Today the family added wild fruit to the porridge. It's dry and has the consistency of sawdust, but it stretches the food to help make it last. Camerette, the 3-year-old, is in charge of cutting up the wild fruit. She does this day after day. With no hope of an income in sight, this will be Camerette's future, chopping wild fruit instead of going to school. Hunger is robbing her of opportunities at only 3 years old. This is day 5 of our journey. It's our last day with the family, and we're just getting up in the morning. And as I was laying in the hut, getting ready to get up, I was thinking it was a lot like being on a camping trip when I was a little girl. And I would lay in the tent, just a thin canvas sheet away from the world. And you can hear the world outside much differently than you can hear it in the city. You can hear the birds and animals that you don't even know what they are, making noises. So I got up and went out to wash, and I came back to the camp, and I thought the big difference between this and a camping trip is now that I'm back, there is no food. There's no coffee, There's no bacon frying, there's no eggs, there's nothing to eat. And for 800 million people around the world, every morning is like this camping trip. A camping trip where you're living out in the elements and you don't have anything to eat. And it's just not right. People shouldn't go to bed hungry and wake up hungry and not know if they're going to eat that day. There's plenty of food in the world. I woke to the sound of singing this morning. This family has so little, but it doesn't stop them from sharing what they have. And it doesn't stop them from trying to live each day to the fullest. But it's hard. There will be no food today. Ekimol and her family will receive food from World Vision for 6 more months. There is no money to buy more livestock or to send the children to school. Ekimol is worried about her grandchildren, especially her favorite, Ekador. Ekador is so hungry that it shows in her smile. Her dimples are starting to disappear.